The PlayStation Store is currently running its Planets of the Discount as well as the Games Under $20 sale. The sale's lasting for another week, so you guys got quite a bit of time to take advantage of these deals. But in this video, I want to highlight 12 deals that aren't, beholden to any price threshold or anything like that. So some more expensive deals, but still relatively cheap, and I think good values all around. So let's get right into it, and let's start things off with the Bayonetta and Vanquish 10th Anniversary Bundle, which is 60% off for $15.99. A lot of the times when this would go on sale, it would be 50% off for $20, so $16, $8 a pop is actually a fairly good deal. Now, keep in mind, these games aren't the lengthiest in the world. Vanquish is a game that you can literally complete in a Saturday evening if you just, rush through the game in like 5 to 6 hours. Not even rush through, it's a linear game, and it's just very short. But Vanquish is super over the top, super fast-paced, even for a Platinum Games title. Vanquish takes the fast-paced nature of those games and bumps it up to 11, let's just say. And it's a very fun game. I hope they do a sequel at some point, but honestly, that's probably never gonna happen. Bayonetta, on the other hand, obviously a pretty well-known IP at this stage of the game. Unfortunately, the sequel's exclusive to Nintendo platform, so that's kind of unfortunate for those of you that just have a PlayStation, but Bayonetta 1 is still excellent, and I would highly recommend it. Both games for $16. I think that's a fairly good deal. Next up, we have Ys 8 Lacrimosa of Dana, 67% off for $19.79. Ys is a JRPG franchise that I'm trying to get more of you guys to give a look to, even if it's not technically groundbreaking. Yeah, Ys 8 was released on the PlayStation Vita alongside its PlayStation 4, PC, and Nintendo Switch releases, but it's a very good game. Ys is one of the more consistent JRPG franchises that you're gonna find. They all have, very good gameplay. The combat system is enjoyable. The music is always terrific. Very, very good. Ys 8 has a pretty engrossing story as well. I found it rather interesting. A little bit of mystery in there as well. And overall, pretty conclusive and enjoyable all the way through. $19.79 for a game that's also pretty lengthy. I mean, if you want to beat the game, it's going to take you quite a while, 40 plus hours of content for sure. $19.79 for Ys 8, I think, is a very, very good buy. Go check that out. And again, with the Ys titles, you can jump right into Ys 8 and you'll be fine. If you want to jump right into Ys 9 Monstrum Nox, you can, but that game usually goes for a little bit more of an expensive price point, so Ys 8, great starting point in my opinion. Next up, we have Assassin's Creed Syndicate, the Gold Edition, 70% off for $14.99. If you guys have been following our channel for a while, you know that I am a big fan of Assassin's Creed Syndicate. It had the unfortunate fate of being released the year after Assassin's Creed Unity. Unity wasn't that hotly received, and Syndicate kind of felt the brunt of it. At least that's what I think ended up hurting this game from a commercial standpoint. Whatever the case may be, Syndicate was the final game in the older style of Assassin's Creed games, but I thought it was a great game. Traversal, I thought, was made better in the game. Visually, I think it looks pretty good. The story I found interesting, and I think the two main characters were rather engaging as well. $15 for Assassin's Creed Syndicate, I think, is a solid pickup. Yes, maybe you see it a little bit more on the pricey side, given that this is a game from 2015, but you do get the Gold Edition, which I think is notable. And even when the base game goes on sale, it's usually like at least like $10 or right around that range. So $14.99, I think that's a pretty good buy. Next up, we have a game that I've been talking up quite a bit in recent months, and that is the Ruined King, a League of Legends story. Only 25% off, $22.49, but I have a lot of positive things to say about this game. Unfortunately, the PlayStation 5 upgrade isn't available yet. Hopefully, Airship Syndicate or Riot, whoever's working on that, gets on that as soon as possible, because it could use a PS5 upgrade. That would be nice to see. The game itself, I think, is excellent. Even if you're not a League of Legends fan, you can find enjoyment out of the game. It has a solid roster of characters that their backstory is told pretty well, and all of them are rather engaging and have a bit of depth to them. If you are a League of Legends fan, obviously you're going to be a little bit more engaged to the characters and the story, but I still think it's an enjoyable RPG the whole way through, and it's a lengthy one as well. There's a lot of additional optional content that you can do. There's secret abilities you can get, etc., etc., and if you want to do everything, it's rather lengthy. And if you want to play it at the hardest difficulty, which probably I wouldn't recommend if it's your first time through, like the hardest difficulty is pretty darn challenging, maybe settle with the normal difficulty. But $22.49, yeah, not the steepest discount, but this is still a relatively recent release, and trying to get some more people on it. Go check out the trailer. I mean, you're seeing some gameplay from it right now, and maybe that'll give you a good idea. And if nothing else, the theme song is great, so the trailer theme song at least is pretty darn good, so that's something to take note as well. $22.49, again, a little bit on the pricey side, but I still think well worth it. Next up, No Man's Sky, 50% off for $29.99. Look, No Man's Sky is a very easy game to recommend if you're looking for a game with longevity. Hello Games, Sean Murray, they have done a fantastic job with keeping this game updated, and the amount of content that's been added. At this point, yes, I know that in 2016, this game fell short of expectations to a grandiose degree, but how they consistently update the game without really monetizing it is surprising. Maybe it's just an instance of, hey, as they continue to offer these free updates, more and more people are going back and buying it. That's probably the case. But they are consistently offering these free updates, and Sentinels just dropped, which expanded the game even more. You had Beyond take the game to another level, and then if you do have PlayStation VR, you can utilize the game that way. Hopefully, they add support for VR 2 when that drops. That would be great to see, but No Man's Sky is a game that, yes, it still has its issues, and I haven't played it with the most recent updates, but I did play it when it was far, far better than the 2016 version, and I played the 2016 version too. You know, you get the game for half off. You're paying a fraction of what people did in August of 2016, and you're getting a far superior game to boot. It's a great pickup, would highly recommend it, especially if you, you know, can jump in with some friends and whatnot. Next up, we have Yakuza Like a Dragon, 50% off for $29.99. Obviously, this game follows a different route than the Yakuza games of past. However, it still has a lot of the charm, the zaniness that Yakuza is known for. I mean, when you got summonings that are a giant enemy crab, I use the quote enemy, you know, obviously, I used that quote in a joke. Sony P3, I believe 2005 or 2006. What a great moment. But Yakuza Like a Dragon is a game with a lot of charm to it, a lot of hilarity, but a pretty good story, a pretty good cast of characters, and if you just want a quality turn-based RPG and you haven't played the other Yakuza games, you can play it Like a Dragon and have a good time with it. And again, a lot of content for your money here as well, so I would recommend it at 30 bucks. Yeah, it's not dropping in price pretty quickly. When did this come out? Back in, 2020, I want to say? Yeah, it came out back in 2020, but, you know, $30 I think is a good buy for it. Next up, we have Tomb Raider Definitive Survivor Trilogy, 60% off for $19.99. This will get you Tomb Raider 2013, upgraded for the PS4, Rise of the Tomb Raider 20-year celebration, and Shadow of the Tomb Raider, the Definitive Edition. All three games for $19.99 I think is a solid pickup. Tomb Raider usually is like $3 when it's on sale. Rise of the Tomb Raider is $6, and then Shadow of the Tomb Raider Definitive Edition is like $13.99. So essentially, you're getting Tomb Raider 2013 for free, which is alright. All three games are very good. Rise of the Tomb Raider is my favorite, as you guys are probably abundantly aware at this point, but all three games have their strengths. Tomb Raider 2013 is another game. You can beat it over a weekend. It's not the lengthiest game in the world. Rise of the Tomb Raider expands it quite a bit and has a decent bit of content. Shadow of the Tomb Raider, the Definitive Edition is ideal because there's a lot of DLC that drop for that game, so nice to get all of that in that package. $19.99 I think is a good pickup. Next up, Divinity Original Sin 2 Definitive Edition is 60% off for $24. Additional 5% off if you are a PlayStation Plus subscriber. That is $21. Now, this is a game that I am probably in the minority of saying I think this is a very good game. Now, why am I in the minority of that? Is it because people think it's a bad game? No, not at all. It's because people think this is one of, if not the best RPG of all time. I'm not quite in that camp, but hey, I've talked to so many people, and a lot of people think that way. Obviously, the people that I talked to played the game on PC, and yeah, this is an RPG that's probably more catered towards a PC audience, keyboard and mouse, all that good stuff, but it's still an enjoyable game on PlayStation 4. A lot of depth to this game, a lot of replayability, so much content, and if you're looking for something like that, and especially if you can get some friends to jump in with you, that would be ideal. This game is definitely best played cooperatively, so just bear that in mind, and $21 for the amount of content you're getting, I think, is a great pickup. Larian Studios being one of the more notable RPG development studios around, so yeah, 21 bucks for that. I think that's pretty good. Next up, we have South Park, the video game collection, 67% off for $23.09. I believe the new season of South Park just started, so hey, maybe this is a timely pickup as well. This will get you South Park, the Stick of Truth, as well as South Park, the Fractured Butthole. You guys know how I feel about the Stick of Truth, a game that going into its release, I did not expect anything special. For some unknown reason, I picked it up. I don't even remember why, and I love the game, and that's coming from somebody that prior to playing Stick of Truth had never watched South Park, but I thought it was absolutely hilarious. I thought mechanically it was a good RPG, and the art style was great, and if you're a fan of South Park, obviously you're probably going to enjoy the game game even more than I did. And the game was done by Obsidian, believe it or not. Yes, the guys that got acquired by Microsoft did Outer Worlds, did Fallout New Vegas, they did South Park The Stick of Truth, and, you know, had I been knowledgeable of that fact back in 2013 when it came out, I probably should have expected something really good, but, man, my expectations were blown away with Stick of Truth. Fractured But Whole didn't have that surprise factor that I had with Stick of Truth, but it was still a very well done game, had that same charm, had that same appeal, and yeah, $23.09 for both games is pretty good. They're not the lengthiest RPGs in the world, don't get it twisted, but they're still both very good, and that price I think is excellent. Next up, we have Ace Combat 7 Skies Unknown, 75% off for $14.99. Another game that I often recommend. Wish it had a little bit more buzz, but seemingly it did pretty well from a commercial standpoint. And hey, we made it to Ace Combat 7, so obviously there's fans of Ace Combat, and Bandai Namco has carved out a pretty solid IP for themselves. Ace Combat 7 was excellent from a soundtrack standpoint. Like, that's one of the more underrated elements of Ace Combat, I think. The soundtrack is fantastic in Ace Combat 7, and then obviously action play, gameplay, action heavy, story not anything to write home about, but a lot of fun to be had with Ace Combat 7. Now, it should be noted, this game has been cheaper, so if you're not like super eager to play this game, hold on a little bit longer. We've seen it down to $8.99, and you can probably get it for that price in the future, so just bear that in mind. I still think $15 is a great price point. It's just a little strange that the MSRP is still sitting at $60, but sometimes that happens. Divinity Original Sin 2 is the same thing. MSRP is still sitting at $60. Nevertheless, a good price there, but not the best we've seen, as I've mentioned. Okay, next up we have 11-Bit Studios Frostpunk the Complete Collection. That is down to $17.99, 60% off. You can save an additional 5% if you are a PlayStation Plus subscriber for $15.74. Ideally, if you are picking up Frostpunk, this is what you buy. There's a lot of additional content to Frostpunk, and with the Complete Collection, you get that. You get The Last Autumn, On the Edge, and the Rifts. You know, Frostpunk is a game much like Divinity that I would probably more so associate with a keyboard and mouse setup. It works well enough on the DualShock 4, don't get it twisted, and I think $15.74 is a very, very good price point for this game with all the additional content. You're paying what? Like $5, $6 more than what the regular game goes on sale for, so, you know, you get a bunch of additional content with that. Now, for the faint of heart, you guys know, if you played this War of Mine, 11-Bit Studios tries to make, like, emotionally engrossing and emotionally bleak games that really test your emotional mettle, so yeah, bear that in mind going into it. A lot of strategic elements as well, which, you know, I'm not the biggest fan of these city builder survival style games, but Frostpunk is one that I really enjoyed, and I sunk a lot of time into this on PC, and I think a lot of you guys will be pleasantly surprised by this game, especially if you want, I guess you would call it a more harrowing experience. Yeah, $15.74, I think that's pretty good with all the additional content. Lastly, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, the Deluxe Edition, is 70% off for $14.99. I think that's a pretty good price for the game. It's like $1 or $2 more than what the Standard Edition goes on sale for. You don't get anything crazy with the Deluxe Edition. You get some skins, you get a digital art book, and a director's cut behind-the-scenes video, and that's actually got 90 minutes of footage from the making of the game. So if you're into that kind of stuff, hey, you get that with the Deluxe Edition. Has a nice upgrade on PlayStation 5 as well. I enjoyed the game a lot. I've talked a lot about how I hate the map layout in this game, but it's got a lot more to like than dislike, and I'm excited to see where the franchise goes. Combat is good. Visually, it's a very good looking game, and I like Cal as a main character. I know some people weren't high on him, but I thought he was a fine main character, and yeah, story was interesting, and I'm not like a big Star Wars guy. Believe it or not, the only Star Wars movie I've ever watched is Rogue One. I gotta go back and watch some of it. I kind of want to check out the Boba Fett series on Disney+, but yeah, at some point I'll get around to that. A lot of games to play and not enough time to be watching Star Wars movies, guys. I'm not gonna lie, the last time I went to see Rogue One at a movie theater and I fell asleep in the movie theater, so yeah, that wasn't that great, but I watched the movie again and I did enjoy Rogue One. But nevertheless, as a non-Star Wars fan, I enjoyed Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order quite a bit. But that's gonna do it for me. Again, a ton of deals available right now on the PlayStation Store. Again, no budget constraints in this video, but still relatively cheap deals. Ys 8, Assassin's Creed, Bayonetta, and Vanquish, I think, is a sleeper deal there. $16 for both of those. If you want shorter action games, I think those both fit the bill. No Man's Sky for longevity, Yakuza Like a Dragon if you want a longer game. A lot of good stuff on sale right now. And yeah, that's going to do it for me. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comments section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.